Welcome students to today's class. Today we are back with another history class of standard 9th, India's internal challenges, part 2. In the previous module we had seen that what problems had troubled India internally after independence. So the lesson began with the unrest in Punjab and how the demand for Khalistan took an ugly turn, and slowly we saw how the Operation Blue Star commenced, and then we also saw what were the issues that were causing trouble in the northeast, and we saw the problems how they were solved in the states of Mizoram and Nagaland. In today's module we will be continuing further. Let us start with the state of Assam. Right after independence onwards, we have always had trouble because many refugees had come to India. Especially in the northeastern states, this problem increased when many Bangladeshi migrants came and settled in the northeastern territories. But in 1893, the people of Assam, that is the All Assam Students Union and the Assam Ganasangram Parishad, these two organizations of Assam had started questioning the dominance of the Bengali migrants, and that is why they asked that this should be stopped. At this juncture in 1985, Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi, the Central Home Minister Shankar Rao Chauhan and the Assamese leader Prafulla Kumar Mohanto, they signed an accord. An accord is a kind of a treaty, a contract, and accordingly it was decided that they would send the Bangladeshi citizens who had come illegally inside Assam back to their original places. And after this accord was signed, in 1986 the elections were held for the Assam Legislative Assembly, and because of his popularity and his success, Prafulla Kumar Mohanto of the Assam Gana Parishad became the new Chief Minister of Assam, and because of this democratic process it became possible to establish peace among the inhabitants in Assam. Let us see what problems were faced by the state of Arunachal Pradesh shortly after independence. In 1954, the NEFA was created, that is, the Northeastern Frontier Agency was created, which consisted of the frontier tribes in the northeastern part of India. Slowly and gradually, this NEFA came to be called as Arunachal Pradesh, or the region of the rising sun. Now, why was it called as the region of the rising sun? Arunachal Pradesh is the easternmost state of India, and since the earth rotates from west to east, Arunachal Pradesh is the first state to face the sun. So, this state is called as the land of the rising sun. And on 20th of February 1987, Arunachal Pradesh finally got the status of a constituent state in India. As we have seen many states in the northeastern part of India, we see that after independence from 1960 to 2000, the northeastern part of India has progressed towards a more matured democracy. This area is on the path of progress, and it has only happened because of industrialization, spread of education, etc. Now let us see what are the other challenges, internal challenges that threatened India after independence. Till now we have seen the challenges that India faced in terms of territories. Let us now see the ideologies or ideas that posed as a threat to India's internal unity. The first among that is Naxalism, or in other words the Naxalite movement. This movement started in the village named as Naxalbari in the Darjeeling district of West Bengal. Over here, it had so happened that there was a dispute between the local landlords and a peasant over the land, uh, and there was a rebellion of the peasants against the local landlords. This rebellion was given leadership by Kanu Santhal and Jagan Sanyal. They had protested and rebelled against the local landlords and had claimed that the rightful redistribution of the land should be done to the working peasants. So they believed that the people who toiled or worked on the land should be given rights to the land. So they organized the farmers, the land laborers to take charge of their lands. They put up red flags and declared the land as a free territory in 1967. After this, many such movements took place, and this incident that happened in Naxalbari was an inspiration for many such rebellions, and all the rebellions which took inspiration or were influenced by these movements are together called as the Naxalite movements. Let us now see what were the further objectives of the Naxalite movements. This movement had the objective of establishing action committees to raise a voice against the exploitation of the farmers by the landlords and confiscate the land of the landlords and distribute it among the tenants or the farmers who worked on the fields. However, later the movement strayed away from its objectives. It took recourse to terrorism to prevent any government schemes and welfare policies from reaching the common people. The Naxalites started a parallel system of government by rejecting the democratic system. This rejection of the democratic system made Naxalism a serious challenge to India's internal security. Let us see in which areas majorly this Naxalism was prevalent in. Naxalism mainly was located in West Bengal. However, later the movement spread to the East Godavari in Andhra Pradesh, parts of Visakhapatnam, Karimnagar in Telangana, Adilabad, Bastar, Rajnandangaon and Sukma in Chhattisgarh, Gadchiroli, Bhandara and parts of Chandrapur in Maharashtra, Balaghat and Mandal in Madhya Pradesh and Koraput in Odisha. And in order to maintain and continue their influence, the Naxalites established an organization called the People's Liberation Guerrilla Army (PLGA), and even today the conflict still continues. Another ideology that threatened India's unity was communalism. Communalism is an ideology that demands an utmost respect in one's own religion while putting down and hating others' belief systems. It is a serious threat to the unity of our country. Communalism emerges out of narrow religious pride. The British sowed the seeds of communalism in our country. People of different religions have happily lived together since many centuries, and there is nothing wrong in people of different religions living together while being duly proud of their own religion. But when this pride becomes excessive, then it turns to bigotry. Each one then begins to consider their own religion as superior and others as inferior, and this leads to religious fanaticism. Fanaticism is the base of communalism. It makes one oblivious of national interest. People of different religions don't trust each other. They become suspicious of each other. As a result, it becomes difficult for everybody to come together and get organized for their demands and rights as citizens. Fanaticism makes the perspective of looking at events and people prejudiced. Some people begin to think of economic and social questions also in the framework of their own religion. That is, they believe that all economic and social rights are given to only people belonging to a certain religion. Some people of all religions think that since they belong to a particular religion, they have no influence in politics. They begin to believe that they are being treated unjustly. They hold the idea that government is partial against their religion. In such a condition, they become too sensitive about their religion and they are co-religionists. If anybody speaks about the people of their religion or insults the religious symbols knowingly or unknowingly, riots break out because of this kind of thinking. Hundreds of innocent people are killed. Public property worth crores of rupees is damaged. Public peace is destroyed. Due to the bitter memories of the riots, people are estranged from each other and mutual trust receives a setback. When we have such an atmosphere of mistrust in the country, let us see what sort of effects can this have. Trust between people is the basis of coexistence. If trust breaks, social unity receives a blow. How can national unity be achieved without social unity? Hence, it is necessary that we all counter this religious communalism with all our strength. For this, we should mix with people of different religions. We should accept the practices and ideas of each other. We should be able to look and understand our economic and social problems rationally. We should not mix these questions with religion. We should search for the economic, political, and historical reasons that are responsible for disturbing the religious harmony. This is the only way to put an end to communalism and strengthen national unity. Let us now look at the third ideology which threatened Indian unity, that is regionalism. Regionalism means having excessive pride about one's region. It is one thing to introduce oneself as belonging to a particular province, and it is another thing to believe that you are superior to others because you are born in a particular province. This feeling can be termed as excessive regional pride, where the love for one's province turns morbid, and due to this kind of excessive regional pride, one feels that everybody else is inferior. It is natural to feel love for one's province, but it should not become abnormal. Let us look at the reasons for this kind of pride. Now, regionalism thrives on regional imbalance in development. That is, when some states are more developed or better developed while some others remain backward. In the post-independence period, some states achieved more progress while some others remained backward. For example, states like Maharashtra, Gujarat, Punjab, Tamil Nadu, they developed economically and industrially, whereas states like Odisha, Bihar, Assam remained undeveloped economically and industrially. Economic development and reforms are the foundation of progress. As a result, the states that develop economically can also achieve progress in other areas like education, health and culture, whereas the states which have not developed in this manner remain backward in education and civic amenities. The opportunities of development available to people in developed states are not possible for people in the backward states. They are harassed by problems like education backwardness, unemployment, poverty, etc. And they begin to think that they are being cheated, they are being kept away from the benefits of development. Because of this, the understanding between the states is broken. This in turn has a negative impact on national unity. The economic imbalance that has endangered this understanding needs to be set right. Our government makes efforts in that direction. Let us see how this regionalism affects developed as well as undeveloped states. Well, the people of the developed states begin to believe that they are superior due to their superior history and culture, and hence they have developed that much. Then they begin to look down upon the people of underdeveloped regions. They are not willing to share the benefits of development with the backward states. On the other hand, the people from the backwards areas need to arouse their regional identity to organize themselves. For this, they try to to unnecessarily glorify local traditions and culture to prove their uniqueness. This leads to regionalism. It endangers national unity, and the evil of regionalism can be tackled by reducing the imbalance in development. Means that we should try and help the underdeveloped areas to become equally developed like other areas. Only then can this problem of regionalism be tackled. We have studied a few challenges that India is facing in this lesson. Apart from these, there are several problems like overpopulation, cleanliness, agriculture, and the problems of the farmers, poverty, housing, and food. The government is trying to overcome these and move forward. Slowly and steadily, we'll be learning more about these in our next chapters. Let us look at a few evaluation questions. Answer briefly. First one: what can we do to end communalism? When we were discussing communalism, there were 5 points that were discussed about how to end communalism. So you all can go back and refer to that part, children. Next is, when does regionalism become strong? When we were discussing regionalism, we saw that when this regionalistic feelings that the people have, when do they feel, when do these ideas they become strong? Again, for that you can refer to those slides on regionalism. You will get to know the answer. Explain the following concepts of communalism. So here you have to explain what is communalism. That again we have discussed. So go back there and write down what is communalism. Next is, explain the concept of regionalism. Here again, what is regionalism has been discussed. Go to that slide. Why does regionalism happen, and how regional imbalance plays a very major role to get for this feeling of regionalism. So you can write all of that in that answer. Next is, give reasons we should fight communalism with all our strength. So here you can write how communalism is not good for our country, and if communalism continues, what may happen to the country, and hence that we should fight it. And few abbreviations are given, children. You can consult the text, you can see the text, and you can write the full forms of these as well in your notebook. I hope you have understood the lesson. Write the questions and answers in your notebook, and till we meet again, happy learning.